Chi Creation, The Tree of Life, Part 5. So, as we continue. We've got all the colours. Green in the centre. And we've green up here as well. Another thing to think about is the Aurora Borealis. So like the colours of those and such. Of which there's an array of colours. But amongst them, which seems to be quite popular, is that green colour. I mean, even around here you've got your greens and you've got your blues. This light colour into purple, reddish, brownish almost. And amongst, an abundance of other of these kind of flower type things. But also the picture inside. Which the detail on them is really good. So again here, like you got this, it comes all the way around, but there's like that gap there. It's the same again. So there's like a lot of logos and stuff, kind of like familiar, like with, like that Batman, Pac-Man, all that. Oh, that's one of the things. Hold on. And so we can see that Pac-Man shape there. And so as we associate it with that black hole, how that kind of works in that kind of way. So again, so you can see like the P, how it has the tail, which comes over the shape of the P, all that kind of stuff. So how it's relevant in that way. And so again, you got all your green, haven't you? I'm not sure if I finished that other point about the stars, like in association with like the size of the realm. There's another thing about distance and time and all that kind of stuff. Like, so like we mentioned before, like an orb, it's small, it looks like a sun, but it acts differently. But I think that's where I kind of went off on subject. But in terms of like each one of those could hold an entire universe within itself in that way. In a sense that how we share each other's universe, and everybody's got their own universe. So in a sense that, we kind of all share this creation in a way. We've got its own realm in a sense. So it's like, whilst I can be alive, existing within one realm, I could exist in another realm, another essence of me, a part of each of us, kind of in each of us realms, experience in each of us realms whilst we have our own realm as well. So you see the blue, it's like lightning. You consider it like chi. So like the chi comes from the tree and it comes into this world, and then that'd be like your what do you call them? Your sprites. And so how it all connects, and then your sprites there, and then it turns into lightning. See how it looks scattered, and it's like coming around this area. See, like there's clouds of it there, but it seems to have like, like dot to dot in a way. It's almost like the sprite mimics the realm above, for where it comes from in a way. another aspect is these parts. And so it's a bit like an octopus. How it has the legs that come out, like the tentacles. Um, so in the sense of its anatomy, like the tree trunk, we compared the octopus with that in another episode. Um, and so you've got the consciousness of the octopus within where its head would be, and then like in the trunk area where it branches out into the roots, then that's like where its tentacles are. And so in that same sense, you're seeing that consciousness realm within like what an octopus is. You know, like you go through its eye and you can see like that's the window to its soul. So then like, you know, you were seeing this. This is almost like the soul in that way, which is a realm connected to all the other realms. So again, the green being that popular colour. And also here as well, like at these areas, and never look ghostly, you know, like you can see through them in that kind of way. So again, similar to that aurora borealis, even with the colours here, which like the last episode when we looked at the where we come out of a realm through these. If you look at it the other direction, like we're in the tree and we're looking down at the realm. So this is like, you know, all the aurora borealis energy, all lightning energy, which are, you know, different different things for different things, isn't there? But it's still coming through that way, you know. It comes through the tree into this world. So that's like looking down the tunnel. It's like we're inside one of those with the black tubes, want to. So it would like the imperceivable light. But all this is lit up, so it's like you're seeing it from spirit's perspective again, where the light can be seen. And also it matches like the iris, like the colours and shapes. They're blurry. So again, you got like that bat sign, you know, it looks like that, like it's like it even got a face. You see like the blue and the green. It's almost like showing you there's like that peaceful place there. It's like you can see like the world in a way, like the colours of a world. And rather than that being like an explosion, and see if it's like done with like, you know, we looked at those different ways of seeing, like infrared and ultraviolet and all that kind of stuff. That might be examples of that. Like it showed it on some fish. You know, some of them were like that sepia colour, and some of them were more, you know, different in how we presented the colours and stuff. See, again, it should be that way. So you got your depth star thing to a certain degree. You got your in and out aspect of things. all the colours, how it looks explosion-like, but then you can see all this green. There's like the greens going into these as well. So seeing it like I said, rather than that fire, more like just the chakra. Oh, actually, like you see all the grainy, like I spoke about sand or whatever and stuff. It's like a formation of it in sense, in terms of how it expands and contracts. And we saw it look like fiery, but now it's drawing back. It's leaving all these lines. A bit like when we spoke about like on the beach, when we noticed all the lines being left and stuff. Like, how the water forms streams and all that kind of thing. And so like, that's like part of the connection into these worlds and stuff. So it's part of the formation of like how it's constructed. So in terms of like, leaving these channels, these pathways. So it's not just an explosion, or, definitely not in the way that they've expressed it in that way. But also see, it's kind of like very tree-like in ways. Like each one's a trunk. As you can see where plot plane is. It's quite detailed in that sense. You see that thin line? And you got that one there, haven't you? And so you can see where the plane is in that way. And you see how it clamps together, and it's creating that kind of, how it's birthing the creation of a realm in that way. I mean, it could explode. It's kind of like, in terms of like the immensity of a chakra, how powerful that energy ball is. Because in one terms of it, in terms of like forming the dome and creating that glass, and so all the sand it creates from all the excess energy. I just feel like it could be easily misinterpreted. It's like, if it's just chi, you know, then she can take all those colours, and it could easily look like an explosion, just like the waves look like an explosion on the pictures of a fish. But that was sunlight going through the waves, so all the froth will catch in sunlight and it make it look bright like that. So it caves in, you know, a trumpet like the flowers and stuff. And inside you've got that green and the blue. All these colours, like the sun, we're inside that black hole, but the black hole's the sun, so all the light coming off it in that sense. And then it's kind of like, you know, you're getting into sky colours, night sky, and then your aurora. Your aurora is on edge of your vision. So, like on the edge of your bubble of consciousness, on your view, it's here and here in that kind of sense, and top, all sides. So once again, when we speak about the eye migraines, so it's like a, you know, that 3D aspect. So it starts off small and it comes all the way around. Well, it comes round, but then once it eventually, it'll go beyond the edge of your vision. So you'll see light edges of your vision, like, you know, well, these crisscrossing lines, and then they disappear. So in the same sense of like the aurora borealis, there's only certain places we can see it, and so that's like the edge of the vision. And so in terms of a dome and all that kind of stuff, then where you're most likely to find it probably would be in a place where the aurora borealis is. Can I get them colours? A little bit, but not much. So it's too bright there. You still got that colour in there as well. So again, favouring green on outside and inside. Somewhat you can almost see texture. And see like the different colours and such. And so this other aspect of like that it's still there but it's imperceivable to us. So, you know, in terms of in spirit form you might be able to see it all, but for us we can't. Like we got that picture of Jupiter and it looked like a UFO. You know, like we got Jupiter and then it had these things at sides of it. So we compared it to like the Taurus field and such. It's reminding me of this. So you got Jupiter in the middle, and then you got two things at sides. So again, you're seeing that same pattern there. but this is like, you know, an entire realm. So in that sense, that Jupiter could be an entire realm itself. It's just shared in our space in that kind of sense. um, our heavens, our pocket of heaven within all of this. And you see another thing, like all that, like the tendon, how they come out. So like our snail uses those parts, you know, its tentacles and stuff kind of thing, for feeling, you know. And we teach it in Wing Chun, you know, like what your fingers, and they're the feeling part, and the reference snails as well in that kind of way. So it's about touch, which kind of like gives you the advantage and all these kind of things. But it's for exploring, you know, it's for venturing further. And so there's a philosophical aspect of venturing further as we learn and grow and live through life, like the experience, not on the outside but on the inside, because that's what the outside is. It's all about that, like life being a microcosm of its own macrocosm. But it also leaves that question, you know, like, is it feeling for more? Is it, I don't know, you know, in terms of like expansion, like the universe expanding and all these kind of things and stuff. Well, we've got the chakra can expand. It makes sense. A tree can expand. A flower can expand. You know, it's alive. It's, you know, the universe, the realm, the spirit realm. And it's like all is conscious. You see, these are blue and not fiery. You can get blue fire, but that's yellow in middle. But again, you see in this shape, you know, it's like the forming of a dome, all that kind of stuff. It lack a bit of colour, but you got a heart-shaped one. So you got that sign. Also looks like an apple. You can see Pac-Man. So you can see the peacock feather. There it splits. So when we looked at the peacock feather, we could see the waves, we could see the horizon, and that, it confirms that that's the horizon. It's like, you know, the patterns like copying and showing, you know, what it is. And so like the peacock feather, that black ball of what the peacock feather is, that's the bubble of consciousness. And so, which is what all the other black holes are. You got that middle bit, but then you got that as well. See, this was like the other blue ones. We started talking about the dome and stuff. One thing I thought is like molten glass, and like we've got the molten sap of the giant trees, and it's like it's all orange and it, all that hot color and all these kind of things and stuff like. So now we've got some yellow, so there's a bit of a difference there. It almost says, there's that blue rock in there, like that sky rock, and it's supposed to be from firmament or whatever and stuff, and I don't know if that's true or not and stuff like, but um, I definitely believe in firmament. I mean, with the abundance of evidence in these series and stuff, um, then I've got no reason not to believe it. But sometimes, if something's being used as evidence for something, and it's not actual the evidence, say like the petrified tree stone rock, which were brought back from moon, apparently, and all that kind of thing. Like, so it's like for that then to be discovered that it was a petrified tree, then then that debunked, it added more to the discredit that it already had, in that sense. So you got all this cloud, haven't you? There's a few things like, is it sand? Is it gases and stuff like that kind of thing, like oxygen and such. You can get that blue line there. It's like the air rushing in. So it's similar to that moth when you could see through its mouth into the world and such. And see like the air coming in. And you also got that green ball. It looks like that's becoming the firmament. Or it's the sun in its green frequency. Like the lightning. Which is a big part of this episode. We're seeing it like it's like connected to, it's part of that tree of life, the tree which kind of connects everything in the universe. All of them are green. as well. Not for green, just for lightning. But I'm running out of time. See how it looks like lightning there. Which isn't an explosion, it's lightning. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. So thank you for watching, and I'll get on with the next one. Nice one. Cheers.